Let's move now to the timeline itself. You may have already noticed, but the way you know which object you're working on is that it will be highlighted in blue with white text, while the other objects appear in a lighter gray with dark gray text. Each row in the timeline includes an icon and an identifier to help you know what you're looking at. The icon tells you the type of object. For example, a text box looks like a little document, an image looks like a picture icon, and a shape is represented by its outline. Next to the icon, the identifier gives you more detail that complements the title shown in the left section. For example, a picture row will usually display the file name, an audio track will show the sound wave, and a text box will display the actual words from that box. You may also notice small shaded triangles on an object's bar in the timeline. These represent entrance and exit animations. A triangle at the beginning of the bar means the object has an entrance animation, while a triangle at the end shows it has an exit animation. This makes it easy to see at a glance which objects animate onto or off of the slide, and how long those animations will occur. On the far right of the timeline, you may see a small arrow pointing to the right. This arrow means the object is programmed to appear all the way to the end of the slide. If you don't see the arrow, then the object has a fixed length of time. That distinction matters. If an object runs until the end of the slide, you can still adjust the overall slide length. But if an object has a fixed duration, then the slide will always be at least as long as that object. We mentioned earlier that you can zoom in and out of the timeline using the slider in the left section. You can also do this directly in the timeline itself. Place your cursor at the top of the timeline where the time increments appear, then roll your mouse wheel to zoom in or out. You'll also notice the playhead, shown as a blue down-pointing triangle at the top of the timeline with a vertical blue line extending down through the objects. The playhead marks the current position on the timeline. In other words, it shows you the exact moment you're looking at in the slide. Before we wrap up this section, there's one more feature worth pointing out: the two small windows in the upper right corner of the panel. Selecting this icon lets you undock the timeline panel and move it somewhere else, even onto a second monitor. Back in the User Interface Panels video, we talked about how this can give you more room in the content area, but another benefit is that once a panel is undocked, you can resize it however you like. Now that you know what the highlights, icons, markers, and arrows represent, and you've seen how features like zooming, the playhead, and undocking work, the whole panel becomes much easier to follow. With these basics in place, you'll always have a clear picture of what's happening on your slide at any given moment.